Adventures of Sonic Episode 20. So long, sucker. Is a lollipop involved? Sonic runs around and notices pink light, and then something lands in front of him surrounded by it. Sonic says it's like a window to another world, but is smart enough to not go in when he might have no way of getting home. A weird black blob creature jumps out of the portal, but cries because Sonic left and goes after him. It's gutsy to have an alien something Sonic related. So I guess it was just Shadow where it started becoming controversial. Sonic and Tails get ready to eat chili dogs. Really, why does Sonic eat nothing but that? It really was a mistake to have him have a favorite food if they're gonna overuse it so much. I hate that. He mistakes the black blob for a pepper shaker. But look at it. Why? This makes the blob start sneezing and jumping around. It starts nuzzling up to Tails and trying to be cute despite looking creepy. Sonic says that they're on the go, so at first he's reluctant to take on a pet. Tails calls the Pet Goopster, and then it eats all of Sonic's lunch. I'm gonna hate this thing if it's a constant annoyance the whole episode. Tails is an idiot because he says it's great that he ate Sonic's lunch, and he spins it around on his finger and it jumps around. This thing's gonna be a big drain on their food resources. And they're homeless, so that's a big problem. It starts crying and jumping around because they're out of food, even though it just ate a ton. It eats a tree, growing giant to do so, making me wonder if it'll be used by Robotnik. Then it lands on Tails' head. Apparently Tails has been chewing gum for 3 weeks, the same one. Some responsible parent there, Sonic. And Sonic is somehow perfectly fine with Tails spinning out on his hand so we can put it on rocks as a trap for Grounded's plane, flinging it backwards. Do they want Sonic to be a role model to the kids or not? Then Sonic gets trapped because some gum is on his shoe and he's stuck to some rocks, so Tails and Goopster head towards Sonic as Scratch's plane is heading for him. Since Tails isn't allowed to be useful, instead it's the new original character, as Goopster sucks away and eats Scratch's plane. Scratch's line after that is totally unrealistic instead of simply being him panicking that he's about to follow the plane. Sonic thanks Goopster, and it licks him grossly and throws him to the ground. Sonic's worried because it's hungry again and getting bigger. What if it tries to eat them? Sonic finds a steak out of nowhere and gives it to him, and for no reason, the same creature that had no problem eating a tree or plane isn't a fan of steaks. I guess it won't like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches either, and it doesn't. This episode is so predictable. Sonic keeps getting food and it tries to eat them instead. This is so forced, it comes out of nowhere. Tails is useful because he says it has to eat chili dogs, so Sonic gives them to Goopster, making him shrink again. Sonic says he was saving chili dogs for his retirement, even though they would go rotten by the time that happened, so he just looked like an idiot. Okay, when Robotnik disbelieved that a little black ball swallowed up Scratch's plane, I actually did chuckle a little at how silly his line was. And I'm kind of ashamed of that since this show sucks at making me laugh so hard. But for once, it actually succeeded.
Oh, that's right. You told me a little black ball came along and swallowed up your plane.
Sonic's naturally angry at Goopster, while Tails is actually trying to defend him like an idiot. Sonic says it's an alien, and Tails is fascinated they get to have an alien pet. Goopster gets kidnapped by Scratch, and Sonic notices his absence and finds a note about it from Robotnik. The note says that they have to give themselves up to find Goopster, and Sonic figures out that Robotnik could use Goopster as a weapon. Goopster eats chili dogs while trapped in a cage near Robotnik. Out of nowhere, it turns out Robotnik used to have a cherished pet despite calling himself a villain. He even cries about it. This is so forced. A crazy evil dictator like him wouldn't care about a pet. He'd abuse it. Less evil people have done that. Robotnik yells at Goopster and attacks the cage, causing it to start growing angrily and break out of the cage. The villains hide as he starts sucking up everything in Robotnik's lab. This guy could take down Robotnik by himself, but for some reason he won't because meta logic. That'd be too anticlimactic. It has to be Sonic. I don't understand how characters keep figuring out that Goopster wants chili dogs in particular. Here it looks like he just started sucking things up because he was mad at Robotnik for hitting his cage. How would they figure out the chili dogs had anything to do with it? Goopster gets the chili dogs and Robotnik falls off a ceiling fan and it falls on him. He only looks injured briefly and then the injuries vanish after he says Goopster could be useful to him. Then some part of the ceiling falls on his head and he falls over, but I'm sure that won't have any consequences either. Compared to shows like Avatar and Korra, this show really treats you like an idiot. And it being a Sonic show is no excuse. Sonic and Tails go to Robotnik's fortress to look for Goopster. Grounder's told to pull a lever that forces Goopster to start sucking up Sonic and Tails because he's electrocuted by the machine. He enjoys it at first, but then he grows and burps them out just because he feels nauseous, not because he was worried that he killed off his caretakers. Sonic finds a disguise out of nowhere and fools Scratch with it somehow. The show is the definition of forced comedy, and he frees Goopster and leaves, causing Eggman to chase them to the edge of a cliff in an Eggmobile. Sonic spin dashes at the totem pole, makes it fall over, crosses over it, and spin dashes the middle to make Eggman's Eggmobile crash into the cliff. Okay, I guess it flies by hovering just above the ground with magnets or something, rather than flying, otherwise he'd follow Sonic over the gap just fine. It starts to rain, and Sonic says this is the exact spot where the lightning hit, and if he can make the lightning hit the same way, there's a chance Goopster could get zapped back to his own dimension. Grounder flies around with helicopter blades and lets go of the bad guys, letting them fall through the ground. Grounder flies into the tree and gets struck by lightning as a natural consequence of him being made of metal conducting electricity. Predictably, this causes the alien portal to show up, and surprisingly Goopster has parents to reunite with. I thought he was just born the minute he emerged from the portal. That would have explained why he immediately went after Sonic to have a parent like a lost duckling. The Sonic Says message has Goopster finished eating all the food from the box, and Sonic lectures us about what a big responsibility a pet is. This was another episode about an original character being a big annoyance, this time in the form of Goopster, an alien pet who sucks up everything around it if it doesn't get chili dogs. Somehow I still found it sympathetic when I was sad about not being liked. I guess it's just acting based on instinct and not thinking things through. Robotnik was a genuine threat for once. It's sad that this was even said, because he used Goopster as a vacuum to suck up Sonic. But Deus Ex Machina happens because for no reason the same alien that had no problem eating a plane and a tree gets nauseous from eating Sonic and Tails and spits them out. They can't decide whether to make it a picky eater or something that will eat anything. It's entirely as the plot demands it. But I found the premise of such a pet interesting enough, and I love that they properly explained why he isn't in later episodes.